Yeah, welcome to week 3 feature matches from March of the Machine League. We got Jordan here, who I'm going to be watching, up against Michael Lemon. We got Bob sitting in here, filling in for Justin, who's away on vacation for a few weeks. So welcome to him. And Jordan's got a spicy little number here with Luris of the Dream Den as his companion. So this is going to be
Oh, I
this is
saw it
going
in
to be
his
a fun one
pool.
here. Yeah.
That's tough to do.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, Michael had to mulligan here because he only had one land, but we got a good mix of lands and spells on our side. Nothing happening till turn 4, though. So,
No, it's okay.
with,
So
with
Jordan is going
Luris
to
on
be
the
able
other
to,
side of the battlefield, it could be a quick one.
yeah, Jordan's going to be able to develop his board here. It looks like he's playing a Bant deck. He has a mixture of white and blue cards in his hand, plus an Vision of Ikoria that's sticking out a bit like a sore thumb with no green source. But, based on the nature of his deck, he can cast every spell that's not green in his hand.
That's good. Michael's got Planeswalker in the 4-mana Vraska I think this is from War of the Spark, as well as Davriel's, I forget this one, the 4-mana Mind
Rogue
Rod
Shadow
that deals.
Mage. Yeah, that was also from
Yeah.
Spark. Might be a little too slow here from what we're seeing. Here's Voice of the Vermin, so nice little annoyance here with a shield counter, but
But one big bomb that Michael did get to pick up on this last draw step was the Invasion of Tolvalda, right? The big reanimate spell that when it flips over makes a 1-mana flyer, also gives all your tokens lifelink and vigilance.
yeah, and
maybe just lifelink.
This 2/2, unless Jordan decides he wants to use a stasis field on it, this 2/2 is going to effectively stop all of his attacks here.
I don't know. He could end up making 2 mana and then tapping it down with the Lord that he's got over there. It's not a terribly efficient use of the turn, but
he doesn't have another land here. He's going to go for the transform here that will allow him to get through. But so he doesn't have another land.
We're just taking it.
Yeah, so he has Skyclave Aerialist in hand, Sunblessed Guardian, Stasis Field, and then I mentioned the Invasion of Ikoria sort of sticking out there. But
one of the fun things that we just got to see as he was scrolling through the deck here, searching for his planes, he's got 2 copies of Gauntlet and Mavrin sitting at the top end. So if Michael can last there long enough, we've got power for days. We just have to make sure that we can last.
Well, we saw if anybody watched the Pro Tour, somebody rode 2 of those in their deck to a 3-0 in the draft portion. So
that's true.
Good card. So this Vraska is going to be very irritating here. I guess the order of the host here will be able to attack through the Death Touch token. But Jordan probably wants to draw some lands here so he can cast more than one spell a turn. I think the whole advantage of Luris is that you get to eventually cast multiple spells in a turn because all your spells are so cheap. But with only 3 lands, he's just going to leave open mana here for the flip the switch. So he wants to nab whatever the big play is here, and I guess he's gonna guess this is what he's gonna nab.
Yeah, not a whole lot you can do with this. It's either discard 2 cards or spend the 1 card that you were going to try to spend anyway.
Okay, he's actually going to discard because the Vision of Ikoria is wildly uncastable, and the Sunblessed Guardian is just a 2/2 that doesn't do too much on this board.
Yeah, not too. Notably, he can get both of those cards back with Luris later on. The Invasion, obviously, being probably one of his strongest items, either on the front side of Luris, if Luris is on the battlefield, or if you were to draw it later, it would get Luris back at the end of the from the graveyard.
Yeah, so he's going to offer the trade here with the Dune Shaper because if those tokens get in, they actually get bigger. That's the passive ability on the static ability on Vraska is that your Death Touchers will grow whenever they.
I love this play. He's functionally sacrificing Vraska here, right? Because the 4/4 is going to be able to get in, but he's got this Invasion of Tolvalda that JM doesn't know anything about. So he's just going to be able to get it back, reset to 5, get more Death Touchers. I mean, things are looking good.
Yeah, so Jordan's he did get a land here. However, it doesn't actually increase the number of things he can do this turn because all of his spells in his hand and his activated ability of the Marshal are all blue.
So he's stuck on blue mana, let alone just lands.
Yeah, so he can still just do one thing here, whether it's...
off of the sack, with the trigger on the stack, things looking good. We've got our Wary Thespian, we're going to run it right away, and we also picked up a Murder to take care of that 4/4.
Just straight up Murder, from Streets of New Capenna,
I think SNC, maybe? Yeah, that probably makes sense to me.
Just good old Murder. Simple as can be.
Doesn't get any better than that, right?
Yeah, simple as can be. Yeah, so Yeah, Jordan. I mean, Bob, you're you've just joined our server recently, but Jordan has quickly become one of the titans of our league in short period. He's played in 8 leagues and he top eighted 7 of them.
Oh my gosh.
So he's always finishing in very high mythic on the best of one ladder, and yeah, so he was the winner of the all will be one league, but yeah, so
Okay.
he's currently on 6 consecutive top eights here. So, but right now he's at 8-6, so that streak is very much at jeopardy here this
Absolutely.
week.
We see some patience paying off from Jordan here as he
Yeah,
ends up getting to cast Flip the Switch, saving his his flipped order. And this 4/4 is doing big stuff right now. There's not a whole lot that Michael can do. He's got this Invasion of Tavalda, but not a lot to bring back with it. He just drew an Aetherblade agent, which is, of course, the Death Toucher that flips over into a 3/3. He can do so by paying the 2 life, but he's at 8. He's going to go down to 6 to flip this thing. And with a Skyclave Aerialist, I
yeah.
mean, he's in dire straits.
Yeah, these just these little peckins for damage. We're just working here. He's gonna do it sorcery speed here. He's gonna do an attack all most likely. Yeah, he's
I don't
gonna
see any
say
reason why
you
not.
can't block my 4/4 effectively. You definitely can't block my flying, and I'll trade my I'll trade my decayed zombie for whatever. So
Yep.
he's got Michael in dire straits here. He's gonna need
Ooh.
multiple things here to answer the board
Thalia and the Gitrog
frustrating.
monster is just on top of the deck, and he elects to keep with the Surveil. Now, if Jordan can bring out literally anything,
Well, yeah,
I think.
he could play an Alabaster Host Sanctifier that he drew, the 2/2 lifelink,
Hmm.
and that
Oh yeah, the cleric. Yeah, if he chooses
the
to play it.
lifelink. Yeah, that should. There's no reason for him to not play unless he's afraid of a board wipe. So he could alternatively just put Loris in his hand, which I think he's going to do. I think he's going to say, I don't want to die to a board wipe, so let me just get Loris into my hand instead of putting another creature in play. He figures I already have mostly what I need to win.
Yeah, so
He
it
has a
looks
tapper.
like
He has a tapper in play.
Michael's going to probably play the Thalia and the Gitrog monster, double checking the graveyard just for the Invasion of Tavalda. But the
Doesn't have
tapper in play,
reach.
tapping. It doesn't have reach, but if he taps down the Death Toucher, then when Thalia blocks, it's only a 3/3. It's going to end up just being a chump, and
Yeah,
Michael's
well,
still going to need something on top of the deck.
yeah, well, now that he drew a land, he can activate his Urn of Godfire that's been sitting there inconspicuously since the beginning of the game.
That does kind of function very similarly because tapping down a creature and destroying them is pretty much the same thing in this instance.
Well,
So he can spend.
tapping down means he loses an attacker, but it looks like he's going to
No. I guess I mean like in trying to kill them right now, right? In trying to kill Michael right now, removing one creature via tapping versus removing one creature via.
He's going for a stasis field and a tap here, so he's just gonna be extra safe here.
I think it's playing around some sort of combat trick, maybe the arachnoid adaptation or something similar.
Yeah, so he's gonna now play his Alabaster Host. So I'll just take a moment to mention the Urn of Godfire. Not a card that most people are probably wanting to run in week 3, but with Loris, it's a repeatable. If the game goes late, it's a 7-mana removal spell every turn.
And that looks like it's it. We drew a port and tracker, and that's not gonna do it.
Yeah, so I mean, Jordan just sort of played small creatures, got in for damage, picked his moments, when to hold back for a minute, but.
Yeah, we see a lot of the power coming from that order of I believe it's the first night, right? The 2/1 that flips over.
Yeah.
It's supposed to just be this basic little 2-drop, but then at the same time having this activated ability that allows you to go bigger is what gives these sort of decks that might not normally be something huge, a little bit of staying power.
Yeah, normally, like this kind of deck is going to have a hard time plowing through 2 Death Touch tokens, but that's that night kind of just did it all on its own, right? He just sort of took care of those Death Touch tokens, basically nullified them. Yeah, so he's playing just all the 2-drops. So he is playing green as looks to be a splash. He has 3 Forest and 2 Thornwood Falls. I guess a Vision of Ikoria, not even that good because it can only really ever get a 2-drop. So you can't really go big with the Vision of Ikoria.
Yeah, I do think that one of the keys, though, is if you draw it late and your Lurrus is already dead, it does get you your Lurrus back from the graveyard. So just having that ability to sort of rebuy Lurrus after it's already been taken care of one time is a really big factor for those decks.
Yeah, because in white and blue, he's not really able to recur the Lurrus. Like, often Lurrus goes best in a black deck where you can get it back from the graveyard,
Yeah,
potentially
raised dead
repeatedly.
effects. There's an unsealed necropolis in this sort of format.
Yeah, exactly.
We did see Michael during sideboard. He took out, I think, 3 different 4-drops, including a Chomping Kavu to go for, some slightly smaller creatures. We saw Dread Recycler coming in, and so we've moved away from some 4s and 5s down to just 2s. And I think playing against a Lurrus deck, this makes a lot of sense to me. To see if we can get some early trade-offs, just making sure that we know what's going on. And in our opening hand, I see Galta and Mavrin shoulder the Whispering One, Davriel Shadow Mage.
Oh,
Not a
no.
lot. So that went back for a 6-card hand.
Yeah, so Jordan's going to keep his hand here. He has a forest and a island, no plains. He has Flip the Switch, Stasis Field, and Negate as blue cards, and he has 2 white cards that he, as of yet, can't cast, and it looks like, unfortunately, Michael's taking yet another mulligan.
Well, on 6 cards, we had 6 lands, which included a couple of fetch lands, and a dual land, and a herbology professor, right? So, in the herbology instructor, the 2-drop, gain 3 life, flips over for way later. So it definitely was a roadblock, gained some life, that all looked good, but there was no action going on. So now on 5 cards, we put back the Invasion of Tovalda, but the first draw step included Thalia and the Gitrog monsters. So missing white at the moment, but if we can get to 4 mana, then there's definitely some action to be had.
Jordan
Alternatively, we have
planes in a timely manner here.
Oh yeah, look at that. We've got 2 other swamps, and then our forest cycler, the big 6/5 reach creature. Okay. So still looking for that plains on our side, but if we get there, things look good.
So Jordan's decided he's just going to flip the switch this turn. Rather than cast
smart move
his Progenitor Exarch, and actually he gets to negate this now instead rather than flip the switch.
Yeah, that was great.
I'm sure he was awaiting a creature for which he could very happily cast his flip the switch, but
yeah, that Vraska went off the top of the deck onto the stack and then into the graveyard directly. There wasn't a lot to be done there, but a plains here means that Thalia and the Gitrog monster hit the battlefield.
Looks like this Thalia riding the frog here is going to get put in a stasis field.
Oh, it does get a second land drop out of it. Unfortunately, no double green for our big 6/5 reach creature.
Okay, so he has the reach creature. Okay, so he has the forest cycler in hand. So he's not. He's going to wait till his forest, but I assume, with the exception of possibly the Galta, I think most of the spells in his deck probably can be cast.
My guess would be that as well.
So.
Invasion of Tovalda is probably one of the big ones that he's looking for. Yeah. I know it got put to the bottom. I don't think he's had a chance to shuffle yet, so hopefully he can do that. But I know there's a lot of kill spells in here. We just picked up an Unsealed Necropolis, which is going to be an excellent card. Yeah, and unfortunately, we got punished for not recycling on the last turn.
That can get back the Thalia there, which Jordan seeing this now is most assuredly going to leave up his Flip the Switch. Which requires an extra 4 mana, which Michael will not have if he casts it next turn.
That's true.
So, if Jordan decides to just leave it up, it's going to be pretty obvious because he got Lurrus into his hand, which is a castable. So, looks like he is going to... Yeah, so he's just going to cast his Progenitor Exarch here, even seeing with the Thalia coming down the line and no actual answer to it. He says, my opponent's at 8. I can just overwhelm him at this point.
Yeah, a very powerful ability here, though. A Blighted Burgeoning just picked up for Michael. And so, he's got a little bit of fixing. He's going to get a 2/2 out of the whole deal. He's not going to be able to flip over the 2/2 this turn, but he still is going to be able to develop his mana so that way he's got double green on his next turn.
He will be able to flip it if he uses the Portent Tracker to untap the land.
Because you untap the Blighted Burgeoning, still get 2 mana.
That's been a nice little trick. True. That's been a nice little trick I've enjoyed in Limited is the combination of those 2 cards. Very, very powerful. So now he gets his Stasis Field back. So Lurrus doing all the things. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really unfortunate.
Yeah, and Lurrus, again, Progenitor Exarch, another crazy card with Lurrus, because late in the game, if you have 7 mana, you just bring them back and make 3 tokens. So. Yeah, so
assuming we're going to trade off here the 2/2 for the O2 that uses toughness, looks like we're going to end up going down to 2 life. I would assume we're probably also going to jump with the Thalia, the Gitrog monster. Don't see any reason why not to.
Unless he figures he's going to draw an enchantment removal. He's going down here.
So it seems.
Okay, let's see.
A Davriel Shadow Fuge.
Yeah, the Shadow Fugue isn't gonna cut it here. The Mind Rot.
Yeah, it looks like 4
So
attackers, all with 3 power.
so if Jordan wants to, he can just do this kind of the easy way would be cast his angelic intervention, targeting one of the creatures to just get through.
I think
But
usually for those kind of tricks, you're going to want to end up holding
doesn't
them
need
until
it.
you absolutely need them. And so
He's just going to make all of his creatures lethal here. So
looks like 5 attacking lethal creatures. There's only 3 blockers. Not a whole lot.
Yeah. So we see just this very consistent sort of low curve Luris deck workout. Michael sort of had the clunky 3-color sort of run out in both of the games here, just sort of a little too slow and a little too clunky for this compact 2-drop deck from Luris. So,
yeah. Jordan's deck very much feels like a week 3 deck, and Michael's deck still feels a little bit like a week 2 deck that needs
clunky,
that extra little punch,
all
right?
So congratulations to Jordan for taking down this match, and we'll be back a little bit later with our second match for the week.